Right. Well, of course, I have, as you would expect, bad news, but I have some, what I think might be some things that'll make you laugh today. So they'll be mixed in there. So let's get to all the bad news. This is the god awful news. I am Craig Hamilton Bradley. And boy, the news is god. If you thought the news was bad yesterday, it got worse today. And I promise you tomorrow Donald Trump's going to give us an even shittier day in the news. But nevertheless, there should be reasons to get hope. Now, I might do it today. I might try to see what it means, what it's like to be a masculine Republican man. So I bought some eyeliner because I'd like to try to figure out what kind of a process J.D. Vance goes through every morning. Does he do his aloha? Does he do his eyeliner? Does his wife do his eyeliner? Does he have a makeup artist do his eyeliner? Well, I'm gonna give it to this $3.50 at at Ross. I imagine I'll have to go for a swim after this. I don't know how you get eyeliner off, but I'll be wanting to do that. I do not want to go out in public with eyeliner on, but boy, isn't it funny that he does that every single day? I swear he's got to have some sort of subservience, some private subservience to somebody who gave him, maybe Peter Thiel gave him something, gave him a rogering or $10 million or more, or who knows? Anyway, or a promise that he'd fix every election he's in or something. Who knows? Anyway, so, and then at the end, if I have the initiative, the energy, the chutzpah, I will get back into the Constitution. We will read from the Constitution. We will read all the things that Donald Trump is not adhering to, or any of the Republicans. Brian, if you haven't seen it, I love it when these nice, hard-working, albeit pretty nerdy guys like Brian Tyler Cohen, he writes a joke, makes a short. He made a joke. He said Donald Trump went to get his physical, and one of the things that was involved in that was a colonoscopy, and when they were doing it, they discovered Lindsey Graham in his colon. Yeah. Oh, and I love all the fight oligarchy in addition to the protests, the hands-off protests. It's pretty inspiring. We only have them bi-weekly, apparently, because, we're Maui. We're a little slower to the table, maybe. I don't know. But it just seemed like too much to try to do it every week to the guys I was talking to. I was talking to them live. I'm like, man, you could probably have them protest every single day. I think people would show up every single day, especially all the people that got laid off from the federal government and from their teacher jobs and every other, and their air traffic controller jobs. Holy shit, if you haven't seen the news, another plane and a helicopter came down and crashed. And seems like with Donald Trump in office, we can count on a mass shooting and a plane or a helicopter crashing every single day. Not giving any confidence to people who might, be on the fence about flying. In addition to everybody around the world not coming here, our airline industry and all related industries have shrunk already, are shrinking. We're gonna see contraction, in all those companies. I mean, logically speaking, all of the shareholders' stock prices in all those companies related should go down with the value of their companies temporarily while there's so much less spending, right, and activity, and no sign of getting out of this anytime for another 1,300 and something days. All right. So good job, Brian Tyler Cohen, on that joke about Lindsey Graham being discovered in Donald Trump's colon. That was a good joke. Gotta love it. I think he could do a whole set of stand-up comedy quite easily if he just, made an attempt. But you can see that side of him wanting to bust out, because Brian Tyler Cohen is inherently probably in real life a pretty funny person. But he just can't. He's a serious newsman, and and he does do a pretty good job when he with without making punchlines, going, really, yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on. So of course, I don't know if you saw the picture for this. I assume you would do the exact same thing I did, right? The moment you realize you've got AI that will construct an image for you, the first thing you want to do, of course, would be to make disparaging images of Donald Trump, who's destroying our country, out of your frustration and for the fun of it. As well, J.D. Vance and maybe Elon Musk and so on. So what I discovered is that when you try to do that with Donald Trump as the centerpiece, none of the AI will let you make disparaging things about. You can't. Oh, I haven't done that yet. There's so many things I got to do now that I figured out the way around it. But you can't say Donald. A few times it would do things. Donald Trump with a pacifier, or Donald Trump in drag, or Donald Trump as the devil. It did that a few times, but most of the time, whatever I tried to make it do, it would say, no, that doesn't. We don't follow those guidelines, or that could be can't say Donald Trump was eating fish sticks. You can't do anything, right? So it just wouldn't make images. Then I realized all I need to do is describe what I want, and there you have it. So I put in the words: an overweight devil with blonde hair, tiny little baby hands and feet, with a red trucker's hat that said traitor, with liar on his belly, with no shirt on, playing golf on the White House lawn with a big golf trophy next to him. And that's what I got. And but also I added, a few more things, with eyeliner, blue eyeshadow, fake eyelashes, and lipstick. And that's how I got that image. So yeah, I have found a new. Or if you want to do J.D. Vance, with a beard, with all the makeup, all of the things similar, and so on. And then it just takes on the look of Donald Trump without having to ask AI to make a politically disparaging picture, which apparently is censored. Oh, but I figured out a way around it, and it is hysterical. Oh, all the silly images. And then I started out with Donald Trump and the devil and Putin sitting in a tree, and it would make these cartoon images, and aloha, and then or Donald Trump playing golf with the ketchup on his shirt, with the devil carrying his bags, and it drew that for me, but it really just was challenging. So if you open up an AI app and you start making it make images of things, and you want to make funny images about people, just describe those people and the setting and the environment without using their name, and then it works. And so, yeah, I assume you would make the same thing. Oh, and I have so many just god-awful images that I generated this morning. It was like my hobby all morning, just making these and using either Lucifer, Satan, or the devil for Trump, or JD Vance, and then putting all the descriptors: blonde hair, red trucker's hat, playing golf on the White House lawn. Anyway, a good time, a little technological good time. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, due process is totally under threat. We know that because innocent people who were here legally were scooped up illegally, unconstitutionally, swept off to a foreign country and put into a concentration camp where their lives are in peril and it's basically a death sentence, a slow death sentence. And it is brutal on the hearts and minds and consciences of people in the United States of America and around the world. It's why no one wants to visit. Plus, we're locking up people that are just trying to come back home, or detaining them, like that lawyer. I mean, there's so many abuses of power and so much corruption going on. It is mind-boggling. It is staggering. Hard to comprehend, but it's right there in front of us. Oh, it's kind of cool. I got the newspaper. I thought, I should do that. Newspaper's been reduced to 1 day a week here. And on the cover was our protest, the one that I covered live. So it makes me feel like a journalist. Anyway, so, and as expected, right, the lower court and now the Supreme Court affirms that Trump has been ordered to go retrieve just this one guy, right, who they admit was taken as a mistake, and they won't even do it. It's like they're so inhumane and rude and ugly, deep down inside, just evil incarnate, right? Which is why it's no hyperbole to show Trump as the devil. And it's great because I have one of him on the golf course with Jesus, but I want to I want to do Jesus in a Canadian flag. I tried to do a Canadian hockey player with a bazooka next to him, and it wouldn't let me do that. But it is just heartbreaking. Anyway, it's a war. These shithole Republicans are at war with the Constitution, and it is just it's on display, and they're just flaunting their gross, negligent power, and their constituents are starting to rise up, and they still just the bribes that they've taken, which I didn't realize was not allowed in the Constitution, because there's so much of it happening. And of course, meek, weak JD Vance couldn't handle a little anyone having an opinion, and of course, women are under attack by these piece of shit Republicans, and so they fired the woman general in Greenland, right? Because they're spineless snowflakes that are fascist dictators, and they need everyone to bow to whatever they want, whatever illegal, abusive shit they want to do. They need everyone to submit, and I am the resistance. So are you. All right. So yeah, there's a meeting on Monday, and the judge is ordering him in there, going, what the lower court judge has been supported by the Supreme Court by 9-0, and now they're just hemming and hawing and not adhering to what's being asked, which we knew they were going to try to do, and it's just gross. Shithole Republicans are gross. All right. Gotta love the oligarchy, the fight for against oligarchy, right? And all the protests, the hands-off protests, just millions and millions of people protesting around the country. Donald Trump could not draw a rally right now, which is pretty interesting. At least I don't think he could, and it sure would be a fucked up one. I think there'd be a lot of pissed off people there. But 125,000 people booed him at Coachella in one crowd. That's pretty cool. And when the fight against oligarchy was going on yesterday there were hundreds of thousands of live viewers in the various channels that were carrying it. So that's it's all cool. And a massive turnout, like 50,000 people turned out for that rally. There's a lot of conjecture about Trump's mental decline. Of course, that's been a focus for the whole time for 10 years now, because he has been just a mental piece of shit for 10 years. And it only gets worse. And everyone is wondering, whether you like him or not, how long is it going to last before he either just drops dead or has a stroke or an aneurysm or falls in the bathtub or, another MAGA kid, a Nazi kid decides, and this is the thing that these guys don't, they create these Nazis, they encourage them, they let them out of prison, and then their children or they decide they want to kill Trump, right? The Nazi leader, they want to kill him, and that's what this little kid, this child who killed his parents, and I just don't understand how a kid could become a Nazi. 17 years old, like how's that even possible? Well, what the fuck? Who's getting in that kid's head with what? Is that TikTok? Anyway, is that Facebook? Is that Twitter? Is that Rumble? What's doing that to this kid? Anyway, kills his parents, and he's on his way to go kill Donald Trump, and they catch him. And so that's weird and interesting, but not something we haven't seen before. The guy that took a shot at him was a Republican parents, Republican kid, and he decides he wants to shoot Trump. I mean, you would think in their fucked up mindset, they'd be more inclined to go after some kind of libtard, but no, man. And that's the danger of fomenting and encouraging insane, radical, white psychopaths, supremacists, inferiorists, white nationalists, right? Like, it's a, it's a risk you run. And so, yeah, this kid, another person that wants to kill Trump, that's a extreme right-wing freaking Nazi, 17 years old, like, just a crime. That kid could be freaking enjoying the hell out of his life, looking ahead at a beautiful freaking life. But he makes these right-wing choices, these Republican choices. Oh, God help us. So the tariffs, if you haven't heard, he reduced them. He took a pause all around the world, but of course we don't want to charge any tariffs on Russia. That's the only country we're not charging tariffs on. But we brought it to some amount, 80, and then China raised his, and then we raised ours to 100, and then they raised theirs, and then we raised ours to 145%, and they raised theirs to 125%. So that's not good. There is no, see, this notion, this victimhood that snowflake Republicans see in everything. They see it in everything. They see a trade deficit, and there must be a victim. I'm a victim. Meanwhile, they're ripping everybody off, gaming the stock market, committing securities fraud, and no one's going to come after him because they've corrupted government so much. No one, Attorney General would never prosecute. And that's what's going on. Crazy tariffs. And I think this week's going to be extremely volatile in the stock market. I don't think it's going to end up at 40,000. I think it'll be, at the end of this week, it'll be 38.5 on a steady decline. Maybe 38. I don't think it's going to hold. I don't think resistance is right here at 40. I think it's going to start seeing resistance at, full-blown resistance at 36,000. That's just my own opinion. But I mean, our overall economy just shrank. And the other thing is, like, think about all the, stories. I mean, people killed people for a pair of freaking Nike tennis, Air Jordans, right? We've heard of pharmaceutical companies killing people, for $1 billion or $2 billion in profits or whatever. And Donald Trump just wiped out $10 trillion of people's money. Is there anybody who's lost parts of that $10 trillion that are gonna want to get revenge with him? In addition to some right wing Republicans, Nazi children. Just asking questions. Just asking questions. So yeah, when countries trade, there's no loser. It's a win-win. Both people win, regardless who sells more to the other person and who gets what. It's always stuff that the other person doesn't have or can't get, or the other person can make better, right? It's the process of everyone having more of better quality at lower prices. Free trade, baby. It's what our whole country was founded on. A book called by Adam Smith called The Wealth of Nations. And it's all about laissez-faire economics, free trade. And that's what Republicans have always claimed to identify as fiscally responsible. All they are is fiscally irresponsible. They are the most reckless fiscal stewards that could possibly exist, and they call themselves the opposite, and they get morons to believe them, and so on. So the stock market fix is getting a lot of attention. Of course, many laws were broken. That's what corrupt Republicans do every day, but they really put it on full display. Even bragged about it in the White House. This guy made $1 billion. This guy made $900 million. Charles Schwab next to him made $1 billion, and he's bragging about it. And he helped him. He gamed the system. They all gamed this. Marjorie Taylor Greene gamed the system. She invested in stocks and treasuries that she knew were going to go up, and it's just corruption, Republican corruption on full tilt. I wonder what all the back channel money looks like where it goes, what are their accounts in the Cayman Islands? Is it gold? Is it truckloads of cash? And then all the potential for all these countries to just bribe Trump directly to get him to lift the tariffs, right? There's this whole situation's ripe for massive corruption, because hey, how about Donald Trump? We'll give you $100 million on the side, and you just bring our tariffs down to zero. And he goes, okay, right? And so yeah, there's going to be no accountability though, because all of our law enforcement has been corrupted by these unjust people who do not know how to follow the law. It's crazy to have an attorney general, an FBI leader who are lawbreakers, bribe takers, conspiracy theorists, just morons, psychos, a danger from within. The enemy within is right there, not holding anybody accountable. But that does speak to what we've noticed already, and whether it's when DJT came out, the stock, or Newsmax stock, or this latest, hey, it's a good time to buy tweet that then led to a 3,000 point swing, largest swing ever in the history of the Wall Street experience. And, oh, God, anyway, cheers. I just lost I forgot where I was going. Sometimes it blows up my mind. It's so annoying, frustrating. I don't know how people keep a level head, stay calm when you just want to punch a wall. Well, we'll say punch a wall. A wall with the face of Donald Trump on it. All right, I tell you what, but don't do that. Leave your hand alone and the wall. Okay. So Russia just bombed the shit out of Ukraine. The U.S. is like, hey, we got this treaty, and Zelensky's like, yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. And then Putin's like, yeah, but I gotta send in a bunch of ballistic missiles and just rip them to hell right now, just right when we could be signing that. In case I do decide to sign it, I just want to do as much pain, and they just killed 100 people overnight. Just like in Gaza, another 100 people murdered every day, buildings leveled, journalists, schools, hospitals, ambulance drivers, aid workers. They attacked journalists. They attacked them all. And the Israeli government is committing genocide and ethnic cleansing, and it is, I mean, it's just, there's no words, I mean, and it's hard for us to watch, but Jesus, imagine trying to survive having bombs just indiscriminately tossed on top of you, wherever you live, going after any remaining buildings in a place where there's only 10% of the buildings left. Anyway, they're all they're cutting off aid and energy and water. They attack the water infrastructure, electricity. They're starving them. They're really trying to just put such awful pressure on them that when they offer them a way out in a bus and force them onto those buses, they're in such a weakened state, they just can't resist, I guess. And the Israeli government figures the more Palestinians it murders, the less it'll have to put onto buses, right? In their mind, it's practical to murder as many people. They say that the death toll that is known is 60,000, but they don't know what's under all that rubble. I think we all know it's probably closer to 200,000. If Palestinians are the ones to do it, if the Israelis dig out all this rubble, they'll never tell us how many dead bodies are in all of it, right? And so that's brutal. It doesn't stop, gets worse. We're talking so long. There's so little there, and it's time, to just stop. My God. But Trump dropped that flyer that said, "We're gonna move you out of here, and no one is even going to remember you." Little insult to injury, just like a sociopath might say. An American was murdered by the Israeli government in the West Bank. They say he was throwing rocks, and so they murdered him. They shot him with an assault rifle. 13-year-old boy. A real threat to the Israeli government, but an American boy. Interesting thing is, my experience in the world is that most human resources people are women, right? They're doing a great job in the workforce, and it's an interesting clash because basically Republican misogynists are going to be, and already are, asking women to not hire women and to fire women. I imagine there's a little resistance there in a few companies. Peter Navarro is a moron, and he's at war with words with another moron named Elon Musk, and it's just full, just stupidity on display for all of us to watch. Children going back and forth, leveling 10-year-old insults, which I love to do, by the way. And on that note, and Elon is apparently moving out of the White House, and now, instead of claiming to save $2 trillion, those fiscally responsible Republicans, who, by the way, are spending more money right now than they did last year. We're spending 10% more money. We're taking in 10% less money. And we just fired hundreds of thousands of people. We're not sending them paychecks. So where's all the money going that would have gone to their paychecks that, we're supposedly saving? And why are we spending more when we know we're getting less? I wonder where all that money's going out of that treasury. Is it sneaking out into people's accounts? I think a lot of people think that's probably what's happening, in addition to our data being compromised. A whistleblower, if you haven't seen it, from Facebook has been talking about how our data has been compromised, handed over to the Chinese, in addition to all sorts of exploitation of people's vulnerabilities, and just a big can of worms. If you haven't seen it, there's a whistleblower just pointing out the horrid realities behind the scenes at Facebook and all the harm they know they're doing, and then they just willingly continue to do. Um, but yeah, I have a new hobby, and that is to, and I think I could almost make in addition to the descriptions of things I'm having AI make, uh, um, are comments I like to make on live streams. And the other day, oh God, it was so great. Fox was live streaming, and they only had 500 people watching, which means it's going to be a slow scroll, right? And it was Laura Trump interviewing Dana White, who, by the way, when I saw him in the front row with the My Pillow guy at the beginning of the pandemic, not wearing a mask, when all you had to do to be a patriotic American was just wear a little mask, like. But people who have terrible breath, instead of brushing their teeth, they chose to protest mask wearing and not wear them at all, and because they just couldn't handle their own breath, and they weren't willing to start brushing. So I decided I was just stuck because it was the last sport in the world that was going on was some ultimate fighting, and so I was starting to watch it. Although it's kind of brutal, it's hard to watch. But then I saw that and I was like, I'll never watch a Dana White fight ever again. And that continues to this day. And so there he is with Laura Trump. Now, Donald Trump's famous for calling Laura Trump horseface because he loves women, and he loves to be complimentary to the women in his family and women in general. Donald Trump loves nothing more than a compliment. So he called her horseface. Anyway, so my hobby is writing provocative things, funny things, things that will grab the attention of the people producing the show that I really like Mary Trump. Mary Trump was just on. She's on live, and I was like, she was talking about how one of the things she loves to do, her hobbies, whatever. It was I love to travel, and right then I was like, come to Maui, Mary. Let me take you for a hike in the West Maui Mountains, in all caps, or and then one after another, and then go between jokes and some invitation to her to come here. Let me show her around, whatever, And I don't have a romantic interest in her, but I just love her dearly, and I would love to be an ambassador of the Aloha Spirit, and do a talking story podcast with her. Get that going again, and get that started, and start interviewing super cool people. And she's a pretty sweet lady. And wouldn't that be cool, man? Donald Trump's freaking niece also. I mean, just that part of it is an interesting wrinkle. But I do enjoy her talking. She doesn't. She's very good at not swearing. I'm not that good at that. Anyway, so that's one of my new hobbies. Asking AI to make satanic looking people that are fat playing golf on the White House lawn with blonde hair and a red trucker's hat and maybe a beard and eyeliner and standing next to a golf trophy. Anyway, these are my new hobbies. It's kind of funny. Anyway, as I entertain myself here through life, trying to deal with the insanity and frustration in a way that's less than awful, I mean, all right, what else? Let's see. Someone called it an orgy of corruption. I like that expression. That was true. Let's see. I heard someone told me there's a store, Island Grocery. I got to go there, where they sell Moosehead beer. I want to support Canada, but I don't really need hard alcohol in my life, so I consume that slowly. Bottle of Canadian whiskey. God bless Crown Royal. But I'm gonna see if I can switch, even though it's not my favorite beer. I'm gonna see what it's like. I drank a lot of Moosehead. It used to be like my favorite beer. Everyone thought it was a great beer in 1988. But things changed after that. Northern California got going, and then Oregon, and so on. And now there's so much good beer out there. And I'm a bitter beer lover. I like that. Torpedo IPA from Sierra Nevada, Northern California IA, Sierra Nevada. I drank Sierra Nevada. My brother went to Chico State, which is where Sierra Nevada was born in the early 80s, when my brother was in school there. And I started drinking it when I was like 13 in like 1982. When there was a whole bunch of, where all they had, I think, was the pale ale. That was their only beer, and it had a lot of yeast at the bottom. Anyway, all right, I digress. So consumer sentiment is lower than it's ever been in the history of consumer sentiment being sentimented. I think 1952 or something like that. So yeah, and inflation's going up, and unemployment's going up, and the value of the dollar is going down, and the value of people's 401ks is going down, and that's what's going on. Okay, all right. So much fun. Oh my God, how fun is this? This is great bad news. It's a great bad news day. If you love bad news, man, I'm giving it to you. I'm bringing it. Bringing it. Oh, I got a mess behind me because I went to Costco yesterday. Prices have gone up a little, but not exorbitantly. Coffee was a little higher. I'm paying closer to $6 a pound now. Not so much $4 and $5 a pound. But still, if I buy it at $6 a pound, you know, I can hedge my bet. My God, at Safeway, it was, in some cases, $20 for, I mean, ridiculous prices for 12 ounces. $15 for 12 ounces. I mean, fuck that. So I went to Costco. I got a Dickinson's Blend Dark Roast Pete's. Ground that up at Costco. There was some on sale for less than the Kirkland brand. Colombian was a blonde Starbucks brand. So I thought I'm gonna blend blonde with dark, you know. Just really kind of experiment there and have a good time. If you don't know it, blonde roast, light roast, has the most caffeine. So it has some utility, even if it isn't the flavor profile you are most looking for. So I had some Italian dark roast also, and I mixed the Italian dark roast, the Dickinson's dark roast with the blonde Starbucks, and I got 6 pounds of coffee, 6.5 pounds of coffee. So I'm good for a little while. I was a little nervous with the tariffs, and you know, prices going up. So yeah, we aren't saving any money as a country. We're spending more than we were, and we're taking in less, right? And this is all so that we can do what? And all these shithole Republicans talk about is how we just got to get these tax cuts through. We just got to get these tax cuts through. We got to get these tax cuts through for the billionaires and the corporations that we need to tax more so that we can take the pressure off the people at the bottom. It is just unbelievable. I literally fantasize about tax policies that would just tax the shit out of the top 10 families, 100 families, 1,000 families. Oh, God, would it be satisfying. Really. That's a reason to want to become president right there, just to tax the motherfucking rich and to take care of all our business. By doing so, we could wipe out our deficit. We could make life great for people at the bottom. I mean, we could do so much just with completely different tax policy. Anyway, you know, kind of tax policy someone who's been a blue-collar worker might dream of. Tim Pool is such a little fucking weirdo. But these two, Luke Beasley and this other wonderful kid from Pondering Politics, they debated Tim Pool and some moron friend of his, and God, it's just gross. Tim Pool, you just want to take a shower after you listen to him for 2 minutes. And he, of all people, met with fucking Bibi Netanyahu, freaking corrupt, criminal, murderer, leader of Israel. I mean, in what world is this shit normal? I don't understand. JFK is killing people with measles and in every other way. He's inventing ways to kill people with his control of the CDC. It's unfreaking believable. And so there's like 600 cases of measles now across the country. There are 7 trans athletes in college across the United States. 7 of them, right? And yeah, and y'all dumb shit Republicans are worried about those 7 trans athletes. You ain't worried about the 600 people with measles. You ain't worried about the thousands of children getting murdered by assault rifles. You don't give a shit about none of that. You're worried about the 7 people who are just want to freaking be on the cross country team. Republicans are so blatantly stupid. It is just, it's hard to fathom. Let's see. And we're only trying to get back 1. We've only admitted that 1 was a mistake. We need to retrieve every person we relocated in El Salvador. Let them keep the $6 million, and let's just take all these boys back, bring them back here, and give them due process, and then deport them if you wish, or send them where they want to go, or let them go where they want to go as free people, and stop this nonsense. It's the only way justice could be administered in this awful case of these innocent people who have not been convicted of anything, who have not committed any violent crimes, sent to El Salvador, to a freaking concentration camp, to a death camp. The death cult. The death cult that is the Republican Party. Of course, if you haven't heard, I've already mentioned it, but a military parade now is planned for Donald Trump's birthday. It's a big birthday party for the little boy in the diapers. It's brutal. Anyway, the question is, will martial law come before the military parade? This dystopian, authoritarian dictator who's trying to crush us. Like it's a combination of a Nazi manifesto, Project 2025, and the movie 1984, right? And freedom is slavery, war is peace, ignorance is strength, right? They need to crush us, and they need to tell us lies, and then every time you hear waste, fraud, and abuse, right? Just like a forever joke that I have, a forever thought I want you to remember. Every time you hear waste, fraud, and abuse, I want you to hear a different word. I want you to hear the words Nazi, Project 2025, the Nazi Manifesto, Project 2025. That's what the waste, fraud, and abuse is. It's the implementation of the Nazi Manifesto, which is Project 2025. Step-by-step implementation of a Nazi manifesto that they're calling waste, fraud, and abuse. And then they say, how could you not want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse? Like, oh my God, just incensed. Everyone should want to get rid. What, you mean you don't want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse? Like it's un-American to claim that you're against that or something? And it's just all a fucking joke. These dipshit, fucking idiot, traitor, criminal Republicans, shithole states, shithole people. Y'all can do better, right? I can't do nothing about this ugliness, but you can stop being a Republican, right? You can stop your ugliness. All right. So we've got the average tariff across the board is 27%. Highest tariffs we've implemented since 1903. Yeah. I mean, how long will it be before it fucking locks me up, right, for speaking out? That's why it's so weird to have to feel like it's brave to say your opinion in America, where it's like should be our constitutional God-given right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, moving forward as journalists, they'll be locking up much more high-profile people before they get to me, I assume, probably. But we'll see. At some point, maybe I will want to stop doing the news so that I can stay free. And even still, they'll want to go back in time, like they relitigate the past with these anti-genocide, anti-ethnic cleansing protesters. They're not pro-Palestinian. They're anti-genocide. That's the other thing. Every time you hear pro-Palestinian, you need to hear anti-genocide, because that's the truth. And there ain't nothing wrong with being against murder, right? And they want to make, and the Jewish people don't want to have anything to do with being used as a scapegoat so that they can implement their Nazi policies, right? How is that, right? I mean, imagine being a Jew just being used as a pawn for the legitimate to legitimize Nazis who were sweeping people up and putting them in concentration camps. I mean, it's insulting to them, right? Because they're not stupid. Anyway, Little Dick Johnson continues to prove that he's Little Dick Johnson, as he completely rapes his constituents, who are poor people in Louisiana, of all their needed benefits. Their lunches for their kids, their food at their food bank, their Medicare, their veterans benefits, their Social Security. The poor people in his district are literally going to starve to death and die because they voted for Little Dick Johnson, who might have a gay lover. We'll find out. Stay tuned. There are people reporting on this important stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There just is if you're actively working to cause harm to the LGBTQ community while you happen to be gay. This is what I was looking forward to after 40 years of work. Yeah, here's what I recommend. Because you're going to have to go back to work. Go back to work as a comedian who makes fun of this. And someday when I open a comedy club here, well, a place for comedy, no alcohol, called Bradley's Going Bananas, come and perform on my stage. You can write it off, and maybe we can figure out a way to pay comedians ultimately. That'd be so cool. Develop talent. Oh my God, my community's so full of fucking silly, wise guys that don't need much. They just need to be told, hey, you can do it. Try it out. Okay. Like, so many funny people here. But, yeah, you too can be funny and should try to be. It's the best thing for your mind when you start thinking, all right, I got to try to come up with something funny to say. It's a great exercise for your mind. Like, if you're gonna make your mind reach to try to do something new, create new thoughts, new neural pathways, do it for the sake of trying to make humor, right? What a great way to keep your mind younger or active or working on something. If you're just constantly trying to find a funny way to see something or to view things, or, I'm loving 12-year-old, 10-year-old, just awful jokes against dipshit Republicans on live stream comments. Oh, it's so fun. I think that could turn into a comedy bit someday, or part of one, just telling all my I'm going to start writing them all down because I just think of new ones constantly. Oh, so when Laura Trump was on with Dana White, and you'd have to be old to understand this because this is an old TV show. There was a TV show of a talking horse, Mr. Ed. Anyway, so there she is, interviewing Dana White. And I wrote also in caps, I'll never watch another Dana White fight as long as I live, or listen to Joe Rogan, right? And it's going up slowly and staying there. And like, there's no way Dana White doesn't see that shit, or his people don't see it. It's on Fox. It's nationally broadcast. Sure, only 500 people are watching it, but people are seeing it because it's going up so slow, and it's just sitting there. And these burning comments against Dana White, Joe Rogan, Laura Trump. So I just had to say, Mr. Ed approves of this message. Because, Donald Trump called his daughter-in-law, likes to call her horseface. Have you heard that? I wonder how many times people have said this joke to her. So a horse walks into a bar, the bartender says, why such the long face? Sorry, see, that's my juvenile sense of humor. It just gets going. Oh, it's a great defense against these Republican insurrectionists, Nazi traitors, misogynists, bigots, murderers, thieves, liars, hypocrites, sociopaths. I mean, it really is a mental exercise to try to come up with as many and as appropriate bad words to refer to these people. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, it's just hard to organize those thoughts because it's a flood of every word that's in the fucking dictionary that you know. Oh, all right. Moving on. Oh gosh, let's see here. The fight on science, and that's all through the. Oh yeah, so we're afraid of science in every way. If you ever drive through Utah, they got these billboards that are just so stupid. They're basically Republican billboards that say science with a big red circle and a slash through it, because it shows evolution, and then a slash through it and says, "Do you know God?" It's like, oh my God, really? That's how you're going to recruit believers, is by starting out with science ain't real? I mean, anyone who goes past that to move on into your church is an abject moron at the very beginning. Like, if religions were smart, they would say, we admit science is true, and God is the unexplained reason the universe exists in the first place. And that is something that no one can really argue against. That's the one thing you could say God is responsible for, the origin of the universe. Right? Who's going to disagree with that? Or let that be the debate. Anyway, all right, moving on. In North Carolina, of course, the Republicans are showing us how they stole the last election by stealing this election from a woman who won by a clear majority, and the corrupt Republican Supreme Court in North Carolina is taking away ballots, or requesting 6 months later that ballots are curated, which has never been done. In other words, the military people that voted for this woman are going to have to prove that they voted for her, and they might be deployed or on an undercover. It might not be possible or easy for them, and so they're cleaning the voter rolls. They challenged a whole bunch of other voters, of course, and that's what they did to win and steal the last election, was just white voters who voted off by challenging their ballots. Apparently, if you just challenge anyone's ballot that you know their name of, their ballot won't count. And that's what Republicans did in this last election, and it is one of the three ways that they're destroying the United States: by challenging the ballots, by wiping the voters off, by keeping them from voting in the first place, the SAVE Act, which is really starting to, the I've had it ladies just noticed, oh shit, they're stealing a woman's right to vote right here, and they're pissed off, and I love those ladies. They are just so good. And they almost have 1 million subscribers. I have 5,000 on my way to 5 million. Just kidding. All right. So yeah. And in North Carolina as well, a whole bunch of destruction's been done from various hurricanes and tornadoes and storms. And FEMA ain't going to help them, because Donald Trump and his irresponsible, feckless, weak, insignificant people who don't want to do any work or any job, they've decided we don't want to do work. We don't want to do FEMA work. We're going to do, I like that, what we said when we did abortion. Just leave it to the states. So they're just going to leave disaster recovery to the states, and the federal government's not going to help anymore. And I'm sorry to you Republicans in North Carolina who lost everything and voted for this shit, because you shouldn't have, and you can vote your way out of it in the next election. Make the pledge: I'll never vote for a Republican again as long as I live. Or go to McDonald's, or listen to Joe Rogan, or watch a Dana White fight, or go to Walmart, or use Amazon, and on, or ever buy a Tesla. And so on, right? There are commitments you can make to democracy that are made through your dollar. And those will have one of the greatest impacts you can have in the fight for democracy, is demonstrating how wrong it was for huge corporations to donate all of their attention and money to Project 2025, Donald Trump, and the Nazification of our country. It is inexcusable, and something I'll never forgive any of these companies for, and I'll do everything I can to decouple. I thought my car insurance expired this month. It was an M month, March. It's actually May, so I'm 2 months ahead. And yeah, I'm gonna switch. Geico donated to Project 2025, so I'm gonna get rid of Geico and, you know, choose another one, I guess, Progressive or whatever. Hopefully they're not on the list, but there you go. Talking about that, I read 20. Oh, how about Bill Maher? If you don't know about Bill Maher, he's this feckless this meek little weakling who pretends to know what the American people think and want, and pontificates on his knowledge of the American people, and he don't know a goddamn thing about anything or anyone. He's never worked a fucking day in his life. If you watch his comedy on Johnny Carson in 1985, he comes out and says, I was raised I'm a Catholic Jew, he says, right? And then, of course, later he becomes we know him as an atheist. But in his first bit on Johnny Carson, he identifies as a Catholic Jew, which is kind of funny. Yep. What the hell you gonna do? What the hell you gonna do? Some of these people, they just aren't gonna get it. But I think Tesla drivers are gonna get it when, you know, somebody acts out on their car. I would never do that, and I don't recommend you do it. But there are people that are doing that shit, and it's just a fact. I don't know, you know, people are, I just heard it said, and mad as hell and not going to take it anymore on many subjects. And that's why they're showing up in droves at everything, at town halls, at protests for Tesla, hands-off protests, protests for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, protests for Mahmoud Khalil. And they said, oh, you can deport that scholar. He was a scholar, just a student. And now we have to deport him because he protested against genocide. You know, like, it is just the most un-American, weak, meek shit ever. And Pam Bondi is just, oh, she just makes blonde women look bad. Blonde women aren't necessarily stupid. And I'm just amazed. How did she get through law school? How did she pass the bar? How did she actually show up and do work as a lawyer with what is apparently is an IQ of 80 or 75? I mean, she is just not to put women down. I'm not, just this one woman I definitely intend to put down. She is the dumbest woman I've ever seen in my life. Oh God, it's just, yeah. It's hysterical because it's true. It's unbelievable. And every time she speaks, and Kash Patel's so messed up. Cash Yap. Oh, I dream of somebody using his full name in the press. Anyone, even alternative media. Please, somebody call him Cash Yap. That's his name. You know, all these people were teased ruthlessly, and they're just getting back at the world. They're only happy if they can make other people miserable because someone made them miserable in their childhood. It's like my ex-wife. And it's just so sad because like my ex-wife, so many people could be having such a happier life if they weren't made happy by making everybody else unhappy. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, so yeah, Bill Maher, what a douchebag. He interviews Steve Bannon, has him on his show with Piers Morgan. I mean, it's just the grossest. And he goes out, has dinner with Trump and Kid Rock and Dana White. Oh, I just wanted to vomit watching it. It was, I had to take a shower afterwards. It was the grossest thing. And then him just, I'm so swept up with his charm afterwards. What a meek, weak little man. Oh, God. Oh. Anyway, Bill Maher, and that's the thing, right? Just like Pam Bondi should encourage you to want to become a lawyer if you're tempted in any way, because she can do it, anybody can. Bill Maher ain't funny. He really sucks ass. And he makes probably some of the most money of any comedian anywhere in the country, and he's horrible. Even when he pays people to help him write jokes, he's horrible. He sucks in every imaginable way. He's never funny. He's super full of hubris. He's so high on himself. He thinks he's fucking God's gift to everything. And so, you know, I find that very encouraging. As someone who wants to be a comedian, someone who wants to fill a room, make them laugh, and maybe get a few bucks for it. Holy shit! If that's the competition, and he's at the top of the heap, top of the mountain, I mean, how hard can it be? Right? Or Joe Rogan, if he's supposed to be funny, how hard can it be? I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions. Anyway, and then the ladies from I've Had It pointed out something that, you know, if Republicans could see the dark near future that's going to affect their lives and their children and their grandchildren, they might vote for the 25th Amendment to get Trump out. And I would have the hope that J.D. Vance would be a feckless, weak man that no one would want to really follow or listen to. I don't think they would pray allegiance to him like Orange Lucifer. And I think the spell might get broken, you know. But of course, yeah, so that's everyone, you know, the common question is, how much worse would it be? Would it be worse if J.D. Vance took over, if Donald Trump falls in the bathtub, you know, tomorrow, or has an aneurysm or a stroke or heart attack, or God knows, or some Republican's child who's become a radicalized Nazi decides he wants to murder Donald Trump to start a race war, like this kid, this 17-year-old poor soul. I'd be willing to bet his parents are Republicans. He's got a MAGA mom. MAGA moms raise the best kids. And of course, Trump and all his people are one thing, if nothing else. They are an example of what a white affirmative action looks like when you replace high school dropouts, special needs kids, or you replace, PhDs with high school dropouts and special needs kids, which is what Donald Trump was. Donald Trump was definitely a special needs kid. He could never pass a driver's license. He definitely didn't graduate anything. In reality, he did do everything he could to suppress all of his school records. His elementary school records, his military school records, all have been disappeared. That's a story that was covered 10 years ago, but how could you forget it? Of course, no one knows. He was at the bottom of his class in business school and was only passed through and given a degree because his dad paid to have a building built for the business school with the Trump name on it. So he's never had a driver's license, couldn't pass a driver's test, isn't smart enough, has never been to a grocery store, wouldn't know how to buy groceries, has never had a real job. He's always been a trust funder, right? A draft dodger. So never had a W-2. His wife hadn't slept with him in over 20 years. He claims to win golf tournaments that he never wins, like a child, and actually talks about it like it's real. And he's a sociopathic, narcissistic, pathological liar. Who loves to do harm, who loves to cause pain, like any sociopath would. And so it goes. That's where we're at right now. And that's the Sunday edition of the God Awful News. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't know. Next Saturday there'll be another protest. Some ladies, when I was showing up, gave me their signs. So I'm just going to keep recycling their signs. I'll bring them to the next one. I'll use them as props. Maybe I'll add to them. I've got a friend coming to visit, which is exciting, with his wife and daughter, who lives in a red congressional district in Northern California. And I'm sending out crazy letters to people in high places. Like George Conway and his super PAC, and the DNC chair, Ken Martin, and the Bohemian Grove, and the president of UC Berkeley. And anyway, and so I could see if I could have a crazy dream fulfilled, it might be, one of them could be, to be admitted to UC Berkeley so I can study and work on and produce basically the history, the American history, the California history, the UC Berkeley history of my family and get school credit for it. I could live at my friend's house and make that my address in the red district. And if I could get, if I could make it a fair fight, if I could get some funding for a real campaign, the most patriotic thing I could possibly imagine doing, the best thing you could do to fight for democracy would be to move into a red district, enter a political race against a red candidate, and turn it blue. And and my friend lives right there in the territory that my family founded, Nevada City, Alta, California. It's funny how Alta was the name for all of this huge territory, and California, Utah, Nevada was all Alta, California. Anyway, there's a little town called Alta, and there's a lake Alta, and my great-grandfather had a house on that lake. That was my great-grandmother's favorite place to go. She believed that elevation where there was a certain amount of red clay in the soil was somehow extra special, healthy. Anyway, the friend coming to visit has 2 houses actually in that district, which I could make my address, right? And then maybe attend UC Berkeley while I'm at it, and then try to take with all this charm and my ability to articulate, and with all my concern, I would love that fight. So and I would not be afraid. That's the beauty of doing this and stand-up comedy. I mean, it kind of helps you become kind of fearless, in a way. Oh, let's see what it's like. I got to use this as my makeup mirror. Let's see what it's like to be J.D. Vance in the morning. How does this work? How does this work? Oh yeah, yeah. How's that? Yeah, J.D. Vance. Oh man, do I look am I masculine now? Do I look like a real man, a real Republican man? Let's do the other one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is how you do it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is how a masculine Republican man puts on his makeup in the morning. Oh, let's get that smudge going. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. The greatest thing about it is everyone's teasing him for it, right? And I can't even look at myself. Oh, this is great. Anyway, the greatest thing about I wonder what it takes to get this shit off. Anyway, the greatest thing about all of it is he just acts like it's not there. I've never heard him make a comment about it in response to all the criticism, everyone laughing about it. Oh, I love the ladies from I've Had It, the way they talk about his smoky eye and all that shit. Oh my God. But he just acts like it's not there. How does a man go through life? And who puts on his makeup in the morning? Obviously he doesn't, because he'd probably not be able to put it on. I now realize how hard it is to put on if you're going to try to put on your own eyeliner if you are a man. I mean, maybe women practice, but there's no way he just immediately knew how to do that. So does he have a makeup artist? Does his wife do it? His wife, I think Indian men might have a habit of putting eyeliner on, do they? I'm not sure. And maybe she thinks that looks good. Maybe it's all because she thinks it makes him look his best. Or someone put it on him for TV one day, and he said, I'm just going to keep it all the time. Looks almost like, no, this is eyeliner. LA Colors, stamp and line. Stamp and line. I thought one of them would be like a sharp pen, and then the other, but they're both a couple little wedges. It's kind of weird. Anyway, first and last time I'll be using that, unless I decide to repeat this comedy bit. Maybe I'll have to include this. I'm working slowly but surely on a whole. I'd like to have close to an hour as possible of pro-democracy jokes. Let's just put it that way. Potentially ruthless pro-democracy jokes. A whole bunch of IQ jokes, and On and on. Oh, let's read from the beginning of the Constitution, again, dressed as a masculine Republican man. Let's read the, I read the first two articles. Let's read the first two articles again and the third article. Let's read. Oh, God, this is great. This is so much fun. Oh, I'm embarrassing my kids so much right now. If they dare watch this, they probably won't get to the end of the video. But this would definitely embarrass anyone's children. Anyway, all right. Let's read from the Constitution. The thing that's being used as toilet paper by 4,400 and something shithole Republican elected people in our country. Okay. We, the people of the United States. Now, none of this is going to sound like something that resembles our country right now, because there's no pursuit of justice or liberty or anything. But those are the words you're going to hear. This is our Constitution. This is supposed to be the law in our country, but Republicans don't give a shit. All right. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years, pretty young, been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within this union according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and including Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons, right? When we valued people as 3/5 of a person. Pretty racist in the beginning here, huh? The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least 1 representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence 1, Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the second year, of the second class of the expiration of the 4th year, and of the third class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every second year, and if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years, 10 years older than a House of Representatives, and been 9 years a citizen, 2 more than 7 for the House, 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. In other words, you got to live in the state. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore, in the absence of the Vice President, and when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. We could use an impeachment. Damn, am I masculine, huh? Is that the most masculine looking man you ever did see? That's what I see. Masculinity. All right. Let's get back to it. Whew. All that testosterone just, ooh, I can feel it. It's bubbling up. Okay. I'm going to have to, actually, and this is a little funny. I'm tired of, the only women I've been dating are women I have dreams about. I've been having these dreams where, like, I wake up thinking I actually have a girlfriend because it was so vivid and it seems so real. And then I wonder, what if I meet that exact woman in the real world? That would be a trip. Anyway, you know, I go to the grocery store and I just never really run into any woman who even notices me. So I think I need to go on one of them dating apps. Question is, you know, where do I start? Tinder, Plenty of Fish, or one of the other 10, Bumble. I don't know, but it will become part of my content, of course, because the truth is easy, and it generally has some funny stuff, you know, layered in there. And of course, if I haven't been on a date in like 10 years, but if I go on a date, that would be interesting for me, and I'm sure there'll be interesting aspects, you know, about it that might just be funny. You never know. I assume funny things to come. All right, let's get back to it. Okay. Let's see. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments, and boy, do we need one. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. All right, that was section 3. We got a little further this time. Maybe I'll just start at the beginning and read a little further every time, and that way I'll totally learn it. And we'll give the Constitution we'll give the Constitution the credit and the just due it deserves. You know, we should be paying tribute to it, learning it, memorizing it. You know, now that the Constitution is totally being destroyed, what a great time to become an expert on it. Not just for me, but for anyone crazy enough to watch me on my YouTube channel. Bless you guys. And God, you know, I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe and all that other stuff, but I hate to conform. Nevertheless, it is what it is. Do what you got to do. Live and let live. Be free. If you don't want to subscribe, don't subscribe. If you don't want to ring the bell, leave a comment. Don't ring a bell, leave a comment. Do whatever the hell you want to do. That's what an American would say to you. It wouldn't say, I want to take your rights away, ladies. I want to take your right to vote away, your right to your reproductive health care, your right to leave your husband. I mean, yeah, the right to use contraceptives. Holy shit. Anyway, yeah, real Americans love their freedoms and want to see everyone else free and enjoying their freedoms and not being persecuted by asshole Republicans who just don't like them, don't like the ladies, or don't like the Mexicans, or don't like the gay people, or the trans, or whoever it is that they don't like. That's right, baby. Like a real Republican man. Jesse Waters, you got nothing on me, dog. It's hard to be as masculine as these frail Republican men. Somebody's got to do it. Oh, this is so fun. Putting makeup on. Now I get it. It's a good time. If you like a good laugh, put some eyeliner on if you're a dude. It's you'll laugh at yourself. You might not want to leave the house. But you'll get a good laugh and you'll learn what it's like to be a masculine Republican man. All right, okay, I gotta shut up. That's the Sunday news. Thanks for watching the terrible news, the god-awful news, breaking daily news show. Do no harm, do no crime. If you're thinking about doing harm or crime, do less, you know? Sit on the couch, become a stoner, become someone who drinks a little bit of booze and takes a lot of naps. You know, become lazy. Make that your mission in life. If you know you're inclined to do harm, make it your mission in life to become the laziest person on the planet. And by becoming lazy, you make the world a better place. What a great way to achieve being a better person. Just be lazy, right? Oh, right on, Frankie. Sweet. Cool. Well, now I'm far more inclined to want to visit you. No. And if you come here, please, let me know. And, you know, I'll meet you at the park. So, yeah, because I've been a bad influence since I was 12. It is one of the stories at all my reunions is all the innocent kids I got stoned for the first time. Parents used to tell their kids, don't hang out with that kid. He's a bad influence. I am. It's true. I've been a bad influence since I was 12. And anyone from my middle school can substantiate that. Also, I got to tell you a story since some of you aren't so young that you wouldn't know this. And I can't tell this to an audience because everyone's too young to know this. But in 1979, there was this popular commercial. I think it was a Super Bowl commercial, Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial. Cute little boy singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song. My baloney has a first name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Okay, so that's the song. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows that commercial. When I was 10 years old, we had this 5th grade bus driver, super mean. She'd pull over and tell us to be quiet. And I'm not going to take you to school unless you be quiet. And when she'd bring us late, we get to class late all the time because she was mean. And I created a rebellion. It's one of the few times I was a leader growing up. I got my whole bus to rebel in the unique manner by singing Oscar Mayer Wiener song really loud. The whole group, just at the top of their lungs. My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. That was our pure rebellion, and I inspired that rebellion. And it was a comedy, but I tried to tell like 9 people that were younger than me, and none of them had heard of that or seen that commercial. So that's when I realized you got to know your audience, and you can't do jokes about shit from 1979 unless you're at a retirement community. So, all right, now I'll shut up. God, I talk too much. Thanks for putting up with me. Love you guys. Do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time. Go get busy living. You know, you got 2 choices: get busy dying or get busy living. And I'm telling it to you because I'm also telling it to myself. I need to hear myself say those words. So now, after I get off of here, I'm hoping that's going to happen. I've been doing a better job of that. A little bit more every day. Breaking through the chains of PTSD and getting out of my own mind and into the real world. Anyway, all right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Aloha.